The word works for whoever will put it to work. And when you do the principles, you do seed time and harvest, and you get connected and partner, it does exactly what the word says.
I know my God has made the way for me. I know my God has made the way for me.
The blessing should impact every part of your daily life. But are you experiencing all God has promised you? Join Kenneth Copeland today and begin living your covenant privileges. Next on the Believer's Voice of Victory. It happens every day. Somewhere in the world, we find partners helping partners. Martie Spaulding is one of those partners. While working for KCM, the Lord called her to Indiana.
And he reminded me of the prophecy that he had given to my husband and I. And he said, you're going to go back to Bedford and you're going to start a church, and it will explode to 400 overnight.
Me, Lord?
One of my friends, Janie, called me, and she said she had gotten a bad report of cancer. And she said, could you or you and Susan go with me to Ecuador? And so immediately I'm thinking, well, maybe Susan can.
So as we talked it through, I'm like, okay, why are we even having this conversation? The Lord spoke to you to go. Your friend needs you to go. He's confirmed it in a prophecy years before this. Just get on the plane and go.
Here we go.
Just a day or two before we got ready to leave, someone said to me, well, do you know anyone there? Do you know the language? And I was like, no. They said, well, why don't you call KCM or EMIC and see if they have a partner there? So I just sent a letter to the offices here, an email, and they sent me some information of a pastor that was a partner and that had been a ministers' conference. And when we arrived at Quito, they were there to meet us at the airport. And so as we got in the car with this pastor, he said, Pastor Martie, he said, I know you're ordained and licensed by Brother Copeland, and he said, would you be interested in preaching our anniversary service? And I said, oh, I'd be honored to. I was just thrilled to do that. We were there just a little over a week, and I'd preached like 3 or 4 times, and God had just poured out His Spirit in every meeting. I was just so overwhelmed at how God led us each step of the way. And he said, I want you to call these pastors together and have them come together and have meetings with the pastors in your hotel room. And he said, I want you to teach them, and teach them on the baptism of the Holy Spirit, and teach them about seed time and harvest. We didn't send out letters. We didn't make any phone calls. We didn't know one person. We didn't know the language. And yet God just opened up the city to us. It was amazing.
The next step.
After I ministered in Pastor Angel's services, he said, I want you to go to the mountains. I want you to see these people, and I want you to preach at their church. And we just keep going up this mountain. And when we got there, the church was small, and they have been believing God for years for a new building, because they've actually grown large enough that they can all fit in there, so they open the windows. And so we're partnering with them to build that building. And we already have received a $10,000 donation the first week, and many more since then, to build that building.
More multiplication.
So Pastor Francisco is one of the pastors who's under Pastor Angel, and then Pastor Angel has another satellite church that Pastor Cecilia is pastor over. So all 3 of those churches are now under Stonegate Faith Center. And then there's another pastor, Pastor Oturo. He asked us as well to be their covering. And I didn't even realize it until I was ministering in our home church after we came back. And there are 4 churches now, and they're all over 100. And she said, the lady that's in our church, she said, the prophecies already come to pass. Your church has exploded to 400 overnight.
Wrapping it up.
We didn't have a plan. We were just going to minister to her and to bless her and to be with her. But I saw God do supernatural work in her, healed her, made her whole, and today her DNA test shows she's cancer-free. The word works for whoever will put it to work. And when you do the principles, you do seed time and harvest, and you get connected and partner, it does exactly what the word says. And it has been life-changing. It's changed regions, and now it's even changing the nations. And I was fortunate enough to be able to be a part of that.
Partners, all God needs is availability. Reach out. and watch your world change.